Hello, Sunny Banani Dumilani. Hi everyone. I want to talk about my experience that I had to go through trying to obtain my PPL license. I'm not gonna sit here and make it feel like it was easy. I'm not gonna sit here and make it sound like it was easy. It was not. I took a lot of time where I had to cry. I had to leave work early. Literally had to leave work early because I had a panic attack because I started stressing that, oh, work is taking so much time. This time I should be actually on my books, reading and studying. But instead I'm here working. I also lost track of how to work because I couldn't focus. And I would clearly say that I feel like I did really bad at work for the just thinking for 2 months straight trying to understand what I'm trying to do. But I just have like I want to say 5 things that I want to cover, and they all just talk about my journey, because this is the first license. There's still more license that follows, but I like recording and talking about each and every experience I go through because it's different, and there's always a lesson from it, and I learned a lot from you. So okay, let's get into it. 5 stuff that I want to cover. Okay, we'll start off with the first one. The first one was I had to disconnect. Like I had to detach from my social media apps. I love my social media, I really do. But it was becoming too much for me. I would find myself distracted. I would look at one post. Before you know it, I have spent a great hour or two looking at everyone's posts, liking, laughing. It's very interesting, but it can take up a good time. So I had to disconnect, which this made me think about what my grade 7, I want to say my 7th grade teacher used to tell us self-discipline, self-control. And I felt like I had to apply that. I had to have discipline. I had to have control so I can be able to focus on my actual big goal, because it was a big goal for me, and it still is, because there's still more that comes from it. So I had to disconnect from social media. That wasn't easy. I missed these times where I did record myself because I was away from my social media, right? So one of those recording, they'll be following up, and this recording takes us to what was actually happening on that day. The day before my exam, and I'm late. I have to meet up with my instructor. So I think I had a lesson and I was running late. I was stressing about this lesson. I put my instructor at 10 and it's 10:21. That's when you know that I am not okay. I am stressing. I'm overthinking. I wasn't sleeping really well because I had to kind of work on studying so I can go and perfect my whatever that I have to work on when I was in the A, or when I had groundwork with my instructor, because he would expect me that I've played my part by studying, and then I come to him and then we go through what I am working. I feel like crying. I can't. So that was hard. So there was a time where I'm running late and I'm like, you know what, screw it, let me record this, because I felt like I will look back at this and be proud that I worked hard. And there's another video where we had to take a fail. Yes, a fail. Wasn't nice. And the fail, one of those fails were end of course. Got to record that one. The end of course, where you get prepared for the actual big exam. So you do the end of course, it's like a mockery of the actual exam. I was asked about the engine of the aircraft. I thought I was prepared. Guess what? I didn't know the engine. So because I couldn't answer and cover the engine and the important part that I need to know when I'm flying alone, so I can be aware of dangerous stuff that can occur in the aircraft and know when I should do a descent, an emergency descent, and land as soon as possible. Excuse me. And I promise I have no corona, but my throat just got itchy. But I had to know my engine in and out so I can know exactly what's going on. If it's that like running rough or the RPM dropping, I had to know exactly what's going on so I can know that for this kind of emergency, what should I do. So I had to take a fail on that one. There was the oral exam, because the end of course is consistent of 2 parts. oral and then the actual practical where you go out and fly and do the maneuvers that you expected to know. So that video too, it shows me, actually it shows me on the second part where I come back and I've already passed my oral and now I'm doing my practical where I had to go and fly. That, which was good, it went well, I passed that part. But I want to say that this degree hasn't been the easiest, and I'm not saying the other degrees are easy, trust me, every degree comes with its own challenges. But I want to say that if you want to challenge yourself, you have to also be ready for the challenges that comes with just trying to challenge yourself. Because I so many times I would come back home and my family is having so much fun. The other time I came back and they were actually playing a game. They were literally sitting on the table playing, I think it was Monopoly or something, but they were having so much fun and I couldn't join them because I knew I had a lesson tomorrow. So I had to take my books, sit in front of them while I watched them play and plan my next route, because I had to do my navlog. Navlog is what you do when you're going to do a long flight, like long cross country flight. You have to plan and know how much fuel you need and know what kind of wind correction you will have to do and your route that you're going to take as you pick your landing spots if ever you encounter an emergency, and also pick some stuff that will be visual to show you if you're still on the right course. So that's what I had to do. Normally that takes me long and it frustrates me. I hate it. When I say frustrate me, I was literally sitting in front of my husband and he couldn't see me cry. I was crying because I hate it, because some points I don't understand it. By the time I do get it, it's already late. Everyone has went to bed. Like I literally sat with them while they were having fun, my little ones playing, and then to the point where it's so quiet because everyone has taken a shower, went to bed, and I'm still stuck with one thing. I didn't like that. And I know it's going to be like that more because I still have to do lab logs. I still have to get used to it. But I want to say the PPL license has been the hardest for me so far. I haven't done the next licenses. I'm sure they come with their own challenges. But because I had to stop, because I started this program in 2018, and in 2019 I had to stop and then return. Returning made me repeat so many lessons so I can get back to track where I was at and also continue off to where I was heading when I was still in 2018 trying to achieve my PPL license. It took me longer than normal, but for me it was worth it. It made perfect sense why it took longer, but like it wasn't easy though, I won't lie. And then the other third part that I wanted to talk about is that I had to kind of hide this from my family. When I couldn't pass my end of course, I was so sad to know that they were waiting for me. When I came in the house, they were all waiting, so excited. My father-in-law thought I was lying when I told my mother-in-law that, hey, I didn't pass, and he was so convinced that I'm just messing with them. But I wasn't actually. It was the truth, and it made it hard. It made it hard for me to focus and try and do this. It was just not an easy thing to do. And my husband was one of the people that were had what is this? He bought flowers and a little brown teddy bear. It was just so cute, and it was 50-50. If I pass, here you go. If I fail, there you go. So it was just accommodating both sides because he didn't know what exactly to buy. But when I did not pass, it was so sad to see them so like worried and feeling sorry for me that I told myself that when I'm taking my check ride, I'm not going to tell anyone. Literally, I did not want to tell anyone. And I did that. Took my check ride. I didn't tell anyone. Had some rough pep with my check ride. And then here we are today. And we have the license, which is awesome. But for some people who have been like really asking me, how are you balancing it with family and kids and full-time job this side, and then you're also a full-time wife, because there's no being part-time as a wife or a mom. I want to say I don't think it was going to be easy if or possible if I didn't get help. A lot of help. I've received a lot of help from family members. My husband has jumped in so many times. I think there's been a month straight where I wasn't cooking and he would cook. So I can be able to focus on just coming back from school, doing my schoolwork. And how I balance work is that during the work days I work, I'm working, and then during the days I don't work, I'm at school. Excuse me. I'm at school. And then when I was at work, I would bring my notebook and I would have rough questions that I've made up. And then I would ask one of my good friend at work to actually quiz me. Every time we have a pod gap, she would quiz me, Zianda, and then she would just ask me a question and I had to answer her on the spot. Every time she has a pod gap or I have a pod gap and we both are not working, she would quiz me, and that helped me because that stayed. They stayed. Like there was stuff that she'd be like, maybe you'll remember this like this, and I did. When I was being quizzed, I actually did remember stuff the way she taught me, which was nice. My mother-in-law did the same thing. There's ways that she would remind me stuff like, oh, if you want to remember this, think of this, and it would be stuck. My instructor did the same thing. He was more crazy though. He did the same thing of trying to remind me of some other acronyms that I had to remember because there's so many acronyms in aviation. It's too much for my liking. But anywho, I feel like you just need to get help. Allow yourself to get help. Talk about what you need. Express your feelings. Express what you're weak in so you can get help from your family, because if you don't communicate, they won't know exactly a way to help you. Because maybe you might need help with maybe having them have time with the kids while you focus on your schoolwork, or maybe you can get help by them quizzing you, setting up questions like I did so they can quiz you. And then lastly is I've been really proud of myself. I think I've mentioned, anyone who knows me, I've mentioned so many times that back in high school I didn't do any physics, I didn't do any math. I did do math, but not pure math. I did math literacy, and I didn't have any straight science classes. The only class that was science in my subjects mostly, I would say, was geography. And to think that I'm still trying to achieve something so big without that is big. If I was home in South Africa, it would be really hard. For the fact that America is making it possible for me, that's a big thing, and I'm really grateful for that. But I will be talking about this journey. I will be sharing, and I will be just brutal with it. I'll tell the truth in other parts. If I'm not ready to tell the truth in other part, I won't even bother talking until I'm ready. Then I can share the stuff. But I just want to let everyone know that if you're in school right now, or if you're planning to go to school and you feel like your kids or my family, we won't have time, make time. Yes, sometimes it feels like 24 hours in a day is not enough. I personally feel like for me it hasn't been enough because I had so much to do, but the 24 hours wouldn't cover my stuff that I need to do. And I had to sacrifice not seeing friends at some points when they're having so much fun. But I have learned that you just have to sacrifice stuff sometimes in order to achieve your wildest dreams. And I've been calling this one of my wildest dreams. I've been telling my mother-in-law that I am living my ancestors' wildest dream. I am their wildest dreams. And personally, it is wild for me. I love it. And I hope people can go for what they feel like they can't achieve. Do it. Don't listen to the inner voice that's telling you that you are not able. You cannot do that. Come on now. Come on. You sure? Remember how you did in high school? High school, you might find out that you are not as focused as you are right now in your adult life right now, like this time. You might felt like maybe in high school you were doing it for your teacher and your parents, but right now life makes sense, right? You feel like, no, man, at the end of the day, I'm in charge of this life. My mom is going to pass away, my dad's going to pass away, and I need to have something stable to fall back on when they are not there to help me anymore. So think of that. So grab every opportunity and don't think it's too late. If you feel like, oh, I've past my 20s, I cannot achieve this, do it. There is no age restriction on learning. Literally, you can learn until you die. because we're always learning. So yeah, so that's my journey. For other people who are wondering, the next license that I'm going for is my rating. It's my instrument rating certificate. So I'm trying to add it on top of my PPL, which stands for Pilot Private License. And then after my next rating, my instrument rating, the following one is my commercial. Because a lot of people have been asking that too. Are you going straight for your commercial? Yes, I'm going for my commercial. It's not going to be easy. Maybe I'm going to cry more than how I cried in PPL. Maybe it's going to be worse, but it will be totally worth it. So I'm trying to get all my licenses that will help me build my hours, and then eventually get into the airlines, because that's the end goal, is to become an airline pilot. And I'm still scattered though. Half of my heart wants to fly for cargoes. I just want to fly boxes, shipping stuff. And then my other part will be like, oh, why don't you fly people? Honestly, the other part of me really wants to just focus on the boxes, but that requires more time on its own, which is still far away, but getting close. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Wait, I think you didn't hear that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. It would be really appreciated on my side and my family. And we like updating you guys. I want to focus on more on this channel. I want to be able to do longer videos here than in other platform, because this platform gives me more chance of putting everything together. But from me to you guys, I love y'all. Take care. Bye.